Hello, everyone. Welcome back into the hospitality room presented by Mascot Media. Bobby Swofford, Blair Cartwright with you on, it's what, Thursday? Yeah, Thursday.
Thursday.
It's
Thursday of the longest week of the year, apparently.
yes,
At least
yes.
it feels like it.
And it's also Texas week in
Yeah.
Arkansas. So everybody's losing their mind. Hey, you've got something cool coming up later this afternoon you were telling me about. You want to
Yeah.
share with
So
everybody?
as we're recording this at about 2 o'clock on Thursday, roughly 5 hours from now, I get to meet the immortal, the icon, Hollywood Hulk Hogan. I'm
Oh,
so pumped.
yeah. Yeah.
12-year-old
Well, that was
Bobby
Randy
and
Savage.
41-year-old Bobby is super excited.
Oh, man. I mean, that's, eat your vitamins. Yeah. I mean,
hmm
the
Say
Hulkster.
your prayers. I
Which,
watched. I was so diehard, like most kids my age. Junior high into high school was the height of the NWO when that started in
oh,
WCW. It's I wasn't huge into wrestling when he was at the WWE the first time or the WWF back then, but I
yeah.
was hardcore into WCW. Had the
Oh,
NWO
yeah.
shirts, had several NWO shirts back then. It was just cool to
Yeah.
be the bad guy.
Hollywood Hogan. Yeah. The
Yeah.
biggest heel turn in the history of the
hmm
sport. And, I mean, yeah. And then the heel turn back. I mean, there,
Yeah. It's
at
so
one
cool.
point, I think it's safe to say there was not a bigger celebrity in sports than Hulk Hogan.
I agree with that. And plus, his popularity, or at least his recognition, is gone through the roof since Netflix released the documentary on Vince McMahon, which, if you haven't seen, it's really, really
I
good.
have not seen it. I need to see
It's
that.
about 8 parts. It's very, very good. But there's an entire episode dedicated to Hulk Hogan and what he did for wrestling, not only the first time through at WWF, but the
Mm-hmm.
heel turn and what he did for that sparked the Monday Night Wars,
Oh
that
yeah,
pushed wrestling to the top. And this is completely off topic, but
that's
I
okay.
think it's starting January 1. The contract with USA is up, and
Ooh.
Raw is moving to Netflix,
Mm-hmm.
and they're dropping the TV 14 rating, and they're going to go TVMA. I truly think that
Ooh.
wrestling has a chance to really skyrocket in popularity again because it's going to become more of that risky, edgy stuff that late teens, early 20s male is really looking for.
Yeah. Well, and take off much like UFC has taken
Yes,
off and
I
taken
agree.
over. Yeah. I mean, I was a W. I was never a big WWEF, whatever you want to call
hmm
it.
I wasn't either.
WCW, I was all about. And when he
Yeah, me
showed
too.
up there, it was huge. And I still think the biggest mistake McMahon did when he bought WCW was to not have the WCW versus WWE showdown.
hmm
I mean, it was so obvious, which is probably why they
Yeah.
didn't do it, but that would have been so huge.
Yeah, I mean, looking back on it, I agree with you 100%. I think it goes into the documentary, but they kind of look like, that Shane bought WCW and they were going to try to
Mm-hmm.
butt heads.
Yeah.
But there's, the contracts for the WCW were so out of whack with the business, it was really hard to keep that model going because they gave guys like Hogan and Kevin Nash and Scott Hall and a lot of the NWO guys, these kind of Goldberg, for example,
Massive.
all this money where they didn't have to show up. And so
Yeah.
they had to pay them once WWF bought the WCW. Again, watch the documentary. I'm not going to give it all away, but
Okay.
it really does dive deep into it. And as a wrestling, I'm not going to call myself a historian, but kind of a nerd. I'll
Yeah.
watch like the A&E documentary or different things like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's really interesting to go back and see like where they went wrong. Talking about WCW because they were killing them in the ratings, and then all of a sudden when Time Warner and AOL merged. It
Yes.
completely threw everything off kilter.
Well, once Ted Turner got phased out,
Correct.
and that wrestling was his thing,
hmm
it all went downhill. Yeah, 52 weeks. They own the ratings. Bischoff has a
It's a lot
podcast.
longer than that. Yeah, it's like 2.5 years, I thought.
What is it? 62 weeks. I don't. There's a
Yeah,
podcast that now I can't think
it's
of his name.
Bischoff. It's Eric Bischoff's name.
Bischoff
Podcast.
and the Podfather, um, Conrad Thompson. He also does one with Jr. Jim Ross.
83 weeks.
83 weeks. That's
Yep.
what it is.
hmm
Oh, I used to listen to that religiously. And then Tony Schiavone has one with Conrad Thompson. What happened when they review all the WCW
hmm
stuff. Oh, that was in my wheelhouse. It was
Yeah.
glorious
And,
times.
and I go down the rabbit hole sometimes on YouTube, and the YouTube shorts are great for old
Mm-hmm.
people. It's like the old version of TikTok. So the little clips, and it's always like snippets of the Undertaker's podcast, and it's always stuff about that. So cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dark
Talk
Side of
about
the
the
Ring. Have
historical
you
stuff.
watched Dark Side of the Ring?
I've seen a few of the episodes of that. Yeah,
That's some good stuff. Some
yeah.
crazy stuff. I mean, it's.
But I'm pumped. So I'll post it. I'll picture a Twitter on tonight of me and the Hulkster. I've been practicing my NWO Too Sweet hand gesture for a week now.
There you,
oh yeah, life. Brother.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, let's get to our talking points. We'll talk basketball first. Razorback basketball last night, beating Troy 65-49. In what was probably one of the first half was probably one of the worst first halves I've ever seen at Bud Walton Arena. Absolutely atrocious. They picked it up in the second half, but man, talk me off the ledge. Granted, last show I'm like, the national media, they're not. I have no idea what the offensive scheme is or what they're even trying to accomplish.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's early, right? I mean, they've played exactly 3 games, and they're 2-1. Their only loss was to a team in the top 10. So that's me talking you off the ledge for now. But also, I mean, this is Calipari's 3rd game at Arkansas, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what's also the 3rd game at Arkansas? Everybody on his roster except for Trevor Brazile. It takes time for even young kids. I know they play AAU, and so a couple of these guys were on the same Kentucky team last year. It's all new to them. And is Troy a NCAA tournament team? Maybe not, but they're going to have a chance to win the Sun Belt, right?
Yeah. Oh, I like the way they operate on offense. You could tell what they were trying to do. And I think this is the reason why I'm feeling this way. Because for the last 10 years, you couldn't figure out what Pelfrey was doing on offense. Couldn't figure out what Mike Anderson was doing on offense. And we didn't know at times what Muss was doing on offense, especially last year.
Yeah.
I think it's that. And basketball has evolved. And I don't want to evolve with it. I'm used to picks and cuts. I like that kind of old school ball, which you have to do if you don't have the talent like Arkansas has.
Yeah.
I learned to appreciate that style growing up under Eddie and whatnot. And maybe that's my problem. I'm too old school.
As someone who didn't get to watch the game last night live because I was calling a different game, I think you may be missing the headline here. Yeah. Arkansas held Troy to 49 points. Maybe they got a little defense. Maybe give a little credit where it's due there.
Yes. The defense was it was like 2 different halves because you're sitting there the first half and you're like, this is a team that played Baylor to 8 points. Second half, the defense, oh my gosh, it was incredible, which is what this team will have to probably do to generate offense. Mm-hmm. But it's just, I don't know.
They're just not shooting it well. I mean,
no, they're not.
I get it.
But there's no movement without the ball.
Yeah, and last night, if I say, hey, Blair, Arkansas is going to go 10 of 23 from the 3-point line, you're going to take that every time. Yeah. But the first couple games, they haven't shot it well for 3. If you look at the season totals, they haven't shot it well for 3, and I get that. But it's still early. They're still 2-1. They still won the game by almost 20 points, 16-point victory.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point, you're just acting like a spoiled brat because you've got Calipari, you've got this dynamic roster, but yet 16-point win's not good enough.
I know. It's weird. That's why I'm struggling with it because it's I don't know. I just don't like positionless stand around basketball. I like to see movement without the ball. And it's not just directed at Cal. That's what Muss's offense was. And that's what Anderson's offense was. And it was just not very exciting. So
yeah, no, I completely get that.
So we'll see. How'd your game go? Tell us about.
It went good. Central Arkansas. I called their game last night. I've got the privilege of calling, I think, a dozen men's games coming up this year for ESPN Plus. Randall University out of Moore, Oklahoma. Not good. Central Arkansas, though, they've got 8 sophomores and 8 freshmen on the roster. Very, very young. Only 2 upperclassmen, 1 junior, 1 senior. They attempted 54 threes last night. Wow. That's going to be the talent team that they are. John Schulman, who's their head coach, said, I'm going to go out there and recruit guys who can score. I'll teach them how to play defense. And it's obvious that their philosophy is whoever gets the ball across half court, launch it.
Nice.
And they hit, I think they hit 16 threes last night. Lane Taylor, the freshman from Farmington, hit 5 in the first half. It's the first time they've really gotten to a rhythm. Ben Fox, a Little Rock Christian kid, he hit 4 threes last night, 3 in a row. First 3 shots of the game, he knocks down 3 threes. They're going to be fun to watch, but if they ever have an off shooting night, it could be a real long night for the Bears.
I like the fact that the Bears have a lot of Arkansas kids, so that
They do, yeah.
That's cool. We're rooting for them, for sure. All right, let's talk some football. The rankings came out. As we look at them here, Georgia's out.
Yeah.
Ole Miss is in. Of course, it's not like this is set in stone. But did anything surprise you when this came out?
No, not when it came out. I mean, as far as what surprised me over the last week of college football, though, I mean, obviously Ole Miss gets the win. We talked about that earlier this week. Miami laying an egg was really surprising. And now that ACC championship game could be an elimination game. I know SMU is also right there I think they're at 14, right behind Georgia on the outside looking in. So that ACC title game between SMU and Miami potentially could knock one of those 2 teams out. I proposed the chaos theory, and it really could show up based on this. What happens when the SEC's got 5 teams that are 10-2? Or somebody gets to the conference championship game with multiple losses, and now all of a sudden say they happen to lose to Texas in the championship game. It knocks them out of contention because they've got a 3rd loss in a game that a lot of other teams didn't have to play. It could be very, very interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how all this plays out. I still don't understand why Penn State is regarded so highly, because they really haven't beaten anybody.
It's the Big Ten.
Yeah,
I think the Big Ten is being put on a pedestal without really a whole lot of justification.
Or are they doing that because of Indiana, in a sense? They have to prop up everybody else to prop up Indiana. I don't know. I guess it'll play out.
It will pull it back up. But you got Indiana there at number 7, and I saw this on YouTube earlier this week. They showed the analytics between Georgia right now, the margin of victory, their record, their strength of schedule, and everything compared to Georgia last season. So Indiana now versus Georgia last season. Indiana had a better strength of schedule. The margin of victory was bigger. The level of competition was a little bit better. And they have Indiana at used to be, 8 or 9 a couple of days ago. Now it's at 7 last week. It is, and they had Georgia at number 1 in the rankings last week. And so I think the committee, and what I'm getting at, and this is a really good point, I can't remember who was talking about it, the committee is putting a lot of stock in brands. That's why we see Notre Dame, and Notre Dame is probably a little lower than I expect them to be. Ole Miss, Penn State, Alabama, all these schools are getting credit because of the brand that is on the side of their helmet across the front of their jersey. Maybe not necessarily because of the way they play. Indiana, just on who they have played and how they have beaten them, deserves to be in that top slot. I mean, because their resume is as good as Oregon's, with the exception of Oregon beat Ohio State. They're tied for first place in the Big Ten. So why is Oregon on that one line and not Indiana?
No, that's a very valid point. In fact, I think the team with the most top 25 wins is SMU, and they're not in the bracket. So it is a TV show. So we have to remember that. All right. I was going to talk Heisman, but we'll save that for next week because it's still up in the air. Let's get to the picks, because this is what we like to do.
Our Hulk Hogan talk threw off the schedule.
Yeah, that's okay. It's all good. All right. It's that week. It's Texas week. 13 and a half.
And it's dropped significantly. It opened at 17. Yeah, it opened at 17.
So what do they know? Are they drinking Tusk beer in Vegas?
We can
only hope so.
I mean, early game doesn't really benefit either one of these teams. Obviously, Texas is going to come in the night before, if not 2 days before.
If they're not here already.
It's going to affect the crowd more than anything. I think Arkansas and the crowd will keep it close for a while. Jaquindon Jackson's on track to play, I believe. Quarterback Taylon Green's on track to play. All that being said, I don't think that the defense has been exposed a little bit. I don't think they can slow down Texas enough to keep it within 2 scores. I think it's close early, but Texas wins and covers.
tell you what, I'm sorry. I'm a homer. I can't ever
Hmm.
not root for the Pigs to take down you know who. I hate their guts. I will lose my mind, like I did when Matt Jones ran it in. I missed
Yeah.
that game because I celebrated too hard at the pregame, but I did rap like I should have won an Emmy. Give me the points. Give me the Pigs.
All right.
I will never ever pick them to lose to
They
the
have won the last two
T
times they played.
Sippers. Yes. It's just gonna and rush the field, tear the goalpost down, tear down anything. If they win, run on the field, give the bird to the hat boy, and just have a good time.
All right.
Right?
Okay.
That's our official stance.
Borderline
Okay.
erotic is what you're calling for.
Well, then that brings back memories of Bielema, and it's
But he beat
not always.
Texas. That's all that matters.
Well, and let's face it, when we beat Texas, we give the coach a new contract that we want to buy out within 6 months. That's what we do. All right. Colorado is going to sneak into the playoff. But
Good.
their biggest test so far, Utah, Saturday, given an 11.5. Utah coming off all the controversy from the Holy War.
Yeah. I mean, how do they respond from that? Obviously, the AD comes out and throws his little tantrum before the press conference right after that game. One of the craziest things you'll ever see an AD do. Like that just doesn't happen. Let the emotions get the better of him. Colorado, they're still right there on the edge, and I just don't know how good they are. They still lost by 17, 18 points to Nebraska early in the year. The close game with Kansas State. But if they win this, they're in the driver's seat to get to the Big 12 title game. I'm going to say Colorado wins, but I don't know that they cover. 11.5 is a little high for me. I think this may be a 10-point game, so I'll take Utah in the points.
Ooh, give me Coach Prime, the beard, and the points. I think they're seeing it. They got some confidence. Oh, my, how LSU has fallen. Florida getting just 4, which I think is also the number string quarterback they're starting in the ball game.
Yeah, it's just because Florida's having so many issues at quarterback. I know they got this game at home. I can't see them mustering it. It's an afternoon game, so they're not going to have time to get liquored there in Gainesville. So I'll take LSU.
Yeah, give me the Tigers, but ooh, man, 4.
Yeah.
Nebraska and USC. Nebraska again, this close to bowl eligibility. This is probably their best shot. SC giving 9, and they're reeling, and now they're on probation.
Yeah, Nebraska's lost 3 in a row. They're going the wrong direction. They got Wisconsin, Iowa after this, so you may be right. Maybe their best chance to get to a bowl game. I'll take Nebraska because again, 9 just feels a little too big with the way the USC's playing.
Yeah, I'll take the points as well. I don't know that USC can score. I was stunned at this line.
That's a lot.
Yeah, especially after Drinkowitz is talking playoff after escaping the OU game. 13.5. Carolina, do you trust them?
No, not by that much. I don't think there's any way. ESPN's running a radio promo that says Missouri travels to Columbia, which I think is hilarious. Because Missouri's in Columbia.
Yes.
But I'll take Mizzou. That spread's way too big.
Yeah, I'm with you. Give me the points. Ooh, elimination game of sorts. Yeah. Tennessee goes between the hedges. The Dogs laying 10.5.
Yeah, I'll take Tennessee to cover. I think Georgia wins the game, but also Georgia winning this game would also put us another step closer to my chaos theory of there being all these 10-2 teams. So I'll take the Dogs.
Ooh, you're going to give the points?
Excuse me, Tennessee to cover, Georgia to win.
Okay, yeah. Give me the points too. I just don't see where that happens. I'm just double checking to make sure I'm right on that Missouri line because, now it's at 14. Wow, that's crazy. All right, Kansas is 3-6. They've gotten hot. BYU with the bye projected 9-0, giving just 2.5 at home.
Yeah, Kansas did play really well last week, though. They put up 45 on Iowa State, a team that allegedly was a top 10 team in the country
Yes.
2 weeks ago, which there weren't. We knew that was a fraud. I don't think Kansas can play that well 2 weeks in a row, so I'll take BYU.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take the Cougars too, but I just couldn't believe it. You're 9-0 and 2.5. That just seems extremely low. All right, let's get to the NFL picks. What a slate of games this week, starting tonight. The Commanders and the Eagles. And I don't know what happened to the line. Oh, I forgot to put the lines in. I bet you. Money, that's what happened. Because I am a doofus.
4.
Oh,
Philly
yes.
-4. I've got it pulled up for you. Philly -4.
All right. Philly -4. It'll pop up here momentarily. What do you think on this one? As I'll enter the other lines.
Yeah, this is a really interesting game to me because, I mean, we saw Washington last week, go to toe-to-toe with Pittsburgh, show that we can be a playoff team. Tonight, essentially, is, for first place in the division. Home game, that's where I generally gravitate to on Thursday night. But I think Washington's more dynamic offensively. I think they've got a chance to go on the road, bounce back from the loss last week, and I think they take over first place in the division. So give me the Commanders.
Really? You're going to go with the Commanders on the short week with the rookie quarterback? Okay.
I disapprove of Sirianni.
Yeah, but you know what? They're winning in spite of him. So I will give the points just because the rookie quarterback in a short week, new thing. I will take the Eagles. Packers, Bears. I don't know why it's not refreshing. It's 5 points is the line.
Yeah, 5 for Green Bay. Chicago fires their offensive coordinator this week. I don't know that's enough. Caleb Williams and the offensive line have looked really, really bad, including last week against a bad Patriots team. So I'll take the Packers.
All right, you'll take the Packers. I'll take the Packers as well. Jaguars and Lions. Oh, I bet I know what I did wrong here. Okay. Go right ahead, sir.
Yeah, Lions -14, and it may not be enough. Jacksonville without Trevor Lawrence again. It's going to be Mac Jones, who threw for just 100 yards, turned the ball over 3 times last week. Detroit's rolling. I'll take Detroit -14.
Yeah, give me the Lions as well. I have no faith in the Jaguars at all. Raiders at Dolphins. The line is -7.5.
Yeah, the Raiders making the switch at quarterback, I believe, this week. I think they're still going with Minshew, but I mean, they can't figure out what they're doing. Antonio Pierce is going to get fired pretty soon. Head coach may be Deion Sanders, and they draft Shador to be their quarterback. But I'll take Miami, even though I don't have a ton of confidence with the way the Dolphins are playing right now either.
Wow, okay. So, Dolphins?
Mm-hmm.
Dolphins. All right. Rams at your Patriots.
Yeah, Patriots getting 5 at home. They've won 2 of their last 3. The one that they lost during that stretch was in overtime. Could have gone for 2 to win it. Last play of regulation. I think Drake May's playing well enough. The offensive spark just doesn't seem to be there for the Rams. So I'll take the New England +5.
Okay. I will take the Patriots too. They've been good for me. I will take them as well. I figured out what I did wrong. I put it on the score and not the line. Browns at Saints. It should pop up momentarily. Saints -1.
Yeah, I mean, this is another dumpster fire. The Saints played a little better last week, but you can't bet on the Browns, so I'll take the Saints.
Okay. I will take the Saints as well. This one's probably the game of the week. Ravens at Steelers. Steelers getting 3 at home.
Yeah, and the fact that this is still a noon game is shocking. They haven't flexed this one out. Can you trust Lamar Jackson in a big game? I don't know that you can. Pittsburgh proved a lot to me last week with the win against Washington, so I'll ride the hot hand and go Pittsburgh.
I heard a stat. Mike Tomlin is like 16-4 against the spread as a dog at home.
Mm-hmm.
Give me Mike Tomlin. I believe in Mike. Vikings and Titans. 6 seems low, but then after what the Vikings did last week, probably
they're not.
I don't know.
They're not playing well. Sam Darnold's kind of coming back to what most people expect Sam Darnold to be, but still they can beat Tennessee by a touchdown. So I'll take Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm torn on this one. The Titans are the Titans are terrible. I'll take the Vikings as well. Colts back to Richardson.
Mm-hmm.
Flacco out. He's significantly improved over the last 2 weeks. They're playing the Jets, who have significantly gotten worse over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And the Jets are favored by 4.
Yeah, they don't even score an offensive touchdown last week against the Cardinals. That being said, Anthony Richardson is a generationally bad quarterback. So I'll take the Jets.
Okay. We'll take the Jets. I will take the Colts. I don't know. We'll see if Richardson even makes it through the ball game.
Yeah,
Falcons, Broncos. Broncos giving 2.5 to the Dirty Birds.
Yeah, kind of falling off the wagon there for Atlanta. That was a bad loss last week against New Orleans. That's a game that you really got to win here right in the meat of the schedule. Had some momentum going in the division. Denver is just they're a lot better team than I think we ever expected them to be with Bo Nix at quarterback. Sean Payton's done a really good job with them, so I'll take Denver at home.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'll take Denver as well, and it just makes you wonder. Okay, we see the job Payton's doing. What the hell happened in New Orleans at the end?
Yeah.
I mean, it just makes more. Maybe he just needed to change the scenery. I don't know.
Yeah.
Seahawks, 49ers. Niners giving 6.5.
Yeah. So now the question is so we've got to start figuring out, is this San Francisco team a playoff team? Not just a contender for a Super Bowl appearance, but are they a contender to even make the playoffs? Because if they lose this game, that drops them back to 500 through 10 games, and you kind of start to write them off, especially as well as Arizona's playing right now. So I'm going to say this is a must-win game for San Francisco, and so I'll think they get it done.
Ooh, I will take the Seahawks. I'm just not sold on the 49ers. And also with the schedule being backloaded now with all the division games, it gets really wild and woolly. Maybe the game of the week for some. Chiefs at Bills. You're giving 2 points to Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid.
Yeah, and an undefeated team, which is crazy to think about. This is where the world is now, because there was an article on the front page of ESPN.com this morning that asked the question: is this the worst 9-0 team ever? Like, is there such thing as a bad 9-0 team?
I wouldn't think so.
As much as Kansas City has left the door open for everybody else to beat them in recent weeks, and they haven't done it. Did see Juju Smith-Schuster is limited in practice today or didn't practice. That being said, until somebody beats the Chiefs this year, I'm going to keep picking them just because they seem to have Lady Luck on their side.
Yes. Pacheco is off IR. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mahomes is like 11-1 with points. So it's a total no-brainer. Give me the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Bengals on life support in LA. Chargers giving 1.5.
I'll take the Chargers. They're quietly the best 6-3 team that nobody talks about.
Yes, and they'll be the team to beat the Chiefs. I'll take the Chargers as well. Monday night, a Texas shootout. Texans at Cowboys. Cowboys getting 7.5 at home. They're all in.
Yeah, Cowboys. The Cowboys are really, really bad. So I'll take the Texans.
Yeah. Has Jerry ever lost to the Texans?
I don't know. It's a good question.
He might get embarrassed. I will take the Texans as well. Final word, Mr. Swofford.
Playoffs start tomorrow.